This is Nightline.
Tonight, timeshare nightmare.
I don't understand how we're allowing these two innocent Americans to sit in a Mexican prison over a timeshare dispute.
A Michigan couple heading to a popular vacation destination arrested at the airport, accused of fraud and still behind bars more than 3 weeks later and counting. Their daughter fighting to free them. What we're learning tonight. Plus, Meghan versus Gwyneth? Duchess of Sussex Meghan Markle of With Love Meghan.
We're in the pursuit of joy.
And actress and Goop CEO Gwyneth Paltrow with an Instagram post aimed at shutting down rumors of a feud.
How brilliant, the joke's on everybody else.
What's behind their supposed rift? And David Blaine, the renowned illusionist famous for his jaw-dropping tricks, traveling to the ends of the earth to find daredevils in the rough and learn their secrets. The one daring act he says he'll never do.
I was like, there's no way that I'm going to try that.
Plus, what's inside tonight's Nightline Vault? Bono reveals the trip that helped him find what he was looking for, moving him from rock star to humanitarian.
I want to have fun and I want to change the world.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Imagine stepping off the plane to start your vacation, ready to relax in the sun, only to be handcuffed and whisked off to jail. That's exactly what happened to a couple from Michigan after authorities in Mexico say they tried to defraud their timeshare company. 23 days later and counting, their daughter is fighting for their freedom. Here's Nightline's Ashin Singh.
It's been a total life-changing situation in every aspect.
It was supposed to be paradise, a place where Lindsay Hull's parents owned a timeshare in Mexico to get away from it all. The timeshare didn't work out, but earlier this month, Christy and Paul Akeo went to Cancun, where they were met with chaos and confusion after Mexican authorities detained them upon arrival, escorting them through the airport.
I don't understand how we're allowing these two innocent Americans to sit in a Mexican prison over a timeshare dispute.
Do you think your parents have done anything wrong?
No.
The Akeos became members of Palace Resorts in 2021, a timeshare company which has resorts in Mexico and an office in Florida. But the timeshare company didn't allow them to use their time as promised, according to the Akeos' attorney, John Manley.
As I understand it, the package they bought gave them access to weeks of travel, right? And they were booking weeks of travel and the resort would cancel. And, you're paying all this money to vacation and then you can't use it.
So they disputed the contract and reached out to their credit card company to dispute the charges.
American Express found for the Akeos, found for Lindsay's parents, and refunded them over $100,000 of wrongful charges.
The Palace company, formerly known as Palace Resort, denies the claims. On March 4th, the couple flew into Cancun from Michigan to stay at a different resort. Then they were arrested behind bars for 23 days now. The resort demanding the couple pay them more than twice what they were refunded. In a new statement, the Palace company saying its subsidiary, Palace Elite, filed a criminal complaint with Mexican authorities. Mexican prosecutors reviewed the evidence and, following failed attempts to serve notice, obtained a court-approved arrest warrant. Interpol validated the case and issued a red notice, leading to the Akeos' detention at Cancun Airport.
There was a report to Interpol that Christy and Paul were wanted. And I think they did that because they wanted to say Interpol wanted him. No, Interpol didn't want him. Palace Resorts wanted him. And they worked with the prosecutor to get them arrested.
Mexican authorities arguing that the cancellation of 13 transactions were done fraudulently by not recognizing the charges, referencing this Facebook post obtained by ABC News, where Christy tells others to report any and all credit card you use for monthly payments as lost or stolen. Mexican authorities say this post described how they committed fraud. Typically, a timeshare is a vacation property where multiple owners share the same space at different times of the year.
The promise is put out there that you can come back here every year, or you can come here 1 year and then trade someplace even nicer the next year. The pitch that's made to them is that one can save money by doing that, because instead of renting the vacation, they're buying it, they're owning it.
What do you make of the charges that are brought by the Quintana Roo Attorney General's office?
I think they're crazy. It's hard for us to understand because we're used to the U.S. legal system. And for what this entire situation is, which is our parents are being held over a timeshare dispute. I don't even know how to connect those or make it make sense.
I think they're being used as a pawn by Mexico. Paul and Christy sort of, really love Mexico. They love Cancun. Neither of them have college degrees. They're not professional real estate investors. Christy owned a cleaning company. Paul was enlisted in the Navy and now is the chief engineer for the Michigan State Police. So they're working people.
Manley began working with the Akayos almost a decade ago, after Lindsay and hundreds of others accused Michigan State University and USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar of sexual assault.
I was the lawyer for most of the national team gymnasts and Olympic gymnasts in the Nassar case, the civil case against Michigan State, against USA Gymnastics, against the U.S. Olympic Committee, and then later against the FBI. And Lindsay was a plaintiff in all those cases.
Nassar was sentenced to 60 years of federal charges of possession of child pornography and up to 300 years in Michigan courts for sexually assaulting scores of girls and women. Lindsay has 2 young children now. She is allowed to call her mom for 5 minutes each day, but hasn't been able to talk to Paul.
How hard is it being a new and young mother and knowing your mom's not there to help?
Hard. I usually call her and ask for advice. So many times during the day, my daughter wants to FaceTime with her Nana and Papa and talk to them. I obviously would give anything to be able to, obviously, for them to be let go and to be brought home safely, but even to just be able to freely text my mom again or call her again.
The couple is being held at a state jail for up to 6 months. As of now, they have not been offered bail. Congressman Tom Barrett, who represents the district where the Akayos live, releasing a statement saying, "I've been in contact and will continue working with the White House, State Department, and law enforcement partners in Michigan to ensure this situation is resolved as urgently and safely as possible."
We won't quit. We don't have an option at this point, but I think there's something to say for the progress that we've made.
Our thanks to Ashen. We turn now to a feud that isn't. Gwyneth Paltrow was known for being an Oscar-winning actress, but also for the enormous success of her posh lifestyle brand, Goop. So when actress turned Duchess Meghan Markle launched a similar company, rumors bubbled of a rift between the two, until a new video surfaced today. Here's ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
Actress Gwyneth Paltrow and Duchess of Sussex Meghan Markle are setting the record straight, appearing together in an Instagram video.
I genuinely do not understand this at all whatsoever. Do you understand this?
The video reveal coming amidst rumors of a potential rift between the two, as Meghan launched her lifestyle brand As Ever, seen as a competitor to Paltrow's multi-million-dollar brand Goop.
Immediately, I think when two women find themselves in the same space, unfortunately, people love to pit them against one another. And I thought, how brilliant, the joke's on everybody else.
It's been a busy year for Markle, who also debuted her Netflix show With Love, Meghan, portraying a quaint, picture-perfect vision of her new life in California.
Let's go.
The show featuring A-list guests from celebrity chefs such as Roy Choi and Alice Waters to her Suits co-star Abigail Spencer to comedian Mindy Kaling, whose appearance on the show went viral as she seemed to be corrected by the Duchess.
I don't think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box and loves it.
It's so funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now.
Kaling further explaining the moment on The View.
I've noticed that whenever I do anything related to Meghan, it becomes like
big news.
Big news.
You almost wonder, do people just love to hate Meghan Markle? Both Meghan and Gwyneth share something in common, and that's that when they first started their ventures in this particular space, they both kind of got laughed at.
Paltrow has been making headlines of her own lately as steamy pictures of her and Timothée Chalamet kissing on the set of their upcoming movie Marty Supreme were released.
There is room for both women to be successful in the same space, and I think that that is an incredible message to not only send out to young women, but to send out to everyone else watching and everyone else who has something to say about it.
Our thanks to Stephanie. When we come back, Legendary illusionist David Blaine spills the tea on kissing cobras, leaning out of spinning cars, and other things mere mortals should not try.
Well, congratulations, Nightline, on 45 incredible years.
Welcome back. David Blaine has caught bullets in his mouth, encased himself in a block of ice, and fasted for weeks on end, all in the name of magic. The world-famous illusionist, known for wowing A-listers like Harrison Ford, has a brand new show, traveling the world and convincing daredevils he meets along the way to teach him their tricks. Here's ABC's Deborah Roberts.
World-renowned professional illusionist David Blaine has been mystifying audiences with his magic and just pushing the boundaries of the human body for decades. From being buried alive for 7 days, I remember that, to getting electrocuted by 1,000,000 volts. Well, now he's traveling the world in the new National Geographic docuseries David Blaine, Do Not Attempt, where he is attempting all kinds of things. He highlights jaw-dropping feats by extraordinary people all around the globe. Oh, my goodness. David, so great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
This is a pleasure. I have followed your career, of course, for so long, like everybody else. And when I think of you, I think daredevil, I think heart-stopping magic. You've been able to bring your magic, as you said, to the people. You've been able to do that for a very long time, and now you're doing it globally. What brought about this idea?
Well, I mean, it's been kind of the dream show for me. Part of the journey for me is meeting these incredible people, these incredible performers, these incredible teachers, these masters, and learning from them. So we are traveling around the world to these incredible countries, meeting these fascinating people, finding out about their cultures, their lives, and they're giving me a sneak peek into what they do. And it's been a 3-year journey and probably the most intense thing I've ever done in my career as a whole. So.
I can imagine feeding your curiosity. Well, for a lot of people, I think when they see this series, it will call to mind Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, when he traveled the world, kind of mixed with Fear Factor. I was just shocked when I saw this, and I want to take a look at this one because you offered a kiss to something, and it wasn't one of your family members. Let's take a look.
In this moment,
slowly, slowly.
Nothing else exists.
Okay, that's enough. Good.
Just to show how much I love animals.
I had animals. You're talking about a snake. That scared me so much. Is there anything you won't do? We've seen you do so much.
When we traveled to India, I met this incredible group at an Urs festival, and they did something that I've never seen. It's very difficult to watch, but they figured out a way to actually pull their eyes. Right, and as soon as I was like, there's no way that I'm going to try that.
No, no.
So there are things that I don't try, but there's so many things in the series I never even knew existed. I didn't even know, like spinning in South Africa, it's like, they're all performers.
Yeah.
They spin these cars out of control, but at the same time, like magicians, they would do tricks. They would jump out of the car, they would lean out. Kayla did something called a suicide slide where she leans out of the car all the way, hanging on by her toes, and she actually taught me how to do that.
You're traveling all over, you're learning from fascinating people, as you say, and there's kind of a mystical nature to all of it. Anything in particular that sticks with you that you want people to know about those traditions?
These experts, these masters have put thousands of hours into working on one skill that there's no guidebook for. Nobody would really recommend that they do this. There's no university, but they work so hard through so much pain and trial and error that when they perform these, it looked like magic.
What is so wonderful about you is we've seen you forever, it seems. You've been shocking audiences for decades, from celebrities like Margot Robbie, where you read her mind, to breaking world records like when you were trapped in that huge cube of ice.
I thought at that point that my mind was permanently gone.
You said you felt like you were dead. I mean, I remember when I saw that. I can't watch half the stuff you're doing, and I admire it so much, but wow.
Well, that one was actually the specific one that I think I pushed too far, and the goal was to come out live on ABC at 10 p.m. So I think a few hours before that, my brain shut off. And I was trying to stay awake and to get to the goal, and my entire team was screaming, get him out. Yeah, get him out. And so that is the one that, for me, was the most difficult, and I would never do something like that again.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I imagine your family would be happy to hear that. You've got a 14-year-old daughter. Do you think about her when you're, I mean, do you worry and consider that?
It's, when she was 1.5, I stopped doing all stunts. That was my final stunt. It had gone wrong, and I was in a bunch of Tesla coils standing up for 73 hours. I spit some electrolyte water out, and the coil hit it, and it arced into me, and it was pretty horrific. So I said, I'm not going to do anything that I'm going to end up risking my life or dying. I have a daughter now, and I did stop. But when she was 10 years old, I decided I wanted to do something for her that I could do. I brought her to Page, Arizona, and we put together a huge rig of balloons, and I just flew away in the sky and just became like a little dot on a rig of balloons, and then jumped back down, and she met me. And that was a highlight of anything that I've ever done.
I can imagine.
As far as just giving her something that was happy, colorful,
special.
Fun. Yeah.
Do you ever envision maybe the two of you doing something together magical?
She's amazing. She's so wise and
you
so
look
incredible.
Up to her.
Yes, it's my best friend in the world.
Oh, I love that. That is so sweet. So let's talk about what's next for you, because I hear there's a Vegas residency.
Yeah, well, we're doing some shows at the Encore Theater at the Wynn. And, you know, it's a combination of everything that I've worked on the majority of my life. And it's a show that's continuously changing, so no two shows have been the same.
Absolutely incredible, David. Such a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Such a pleasure. And David Blaine, Do Not Attempt, is streaming now on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Never, not once. Please don't try any of David Blaine's stunts at home or anywhere else for that matter. Our thanks to Deborah. When we come back, it's our big 45th anniversary week. We break open the Nightline vault to a time when Bono was moving beyond rock star to humanitarian. The trip that he says changed his life forever.
Congratulations on 45 years, Nightline.
Finally tonight, on Nightline's big 45th anniversary week, we're cracking open the Nightline vault. 18 years ago, Bono opening up his heart to humanity.
Tonight on Nightline, Bono, how the rock star decided he wanted to change the world.
You have a touch of a messiah complex. Fair?
I want to have fun, and I want to change the world.
Is the humanitarian work more interesting to you now than the night job of rock star?
Oh, no. It just means that when I do get into the studio, or I do get to meet my bandmates, I feel like I just, you know, I feel like I can really be myself.
What I'm looking for, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
And that's Nightline for this evening. Thanks for the company, America. Good night.